Welcome to the Commemorative Air Force Minnesota Wing here in South St. Paul. So back in 1957, a guy named Lloyd Nolan with 4 of his ex-pilot buddies bought a P-51 Mustang aircraft for $1,500. And they unofficially formed a little group that would kind of celebrate the joys of owning a World War II era aircraft. They went on to purchase a couple more aircraft for $800 a piece, which were F-8F aircrafts, Bearcats, and in 1960 they started the Commemorative Air Force. And their goal was to acquire and restore as many old World War II aircrafts as possible and preserve those airplanes. And they grew and grew, and in 1971, this became the Commemorative Air Force Minnesota Wing, which was the very first charter, right here in South St. Paul. They have airplane hangars, they've got a museum. It's going to be a lot to see today, and it should be pretty fun. I want to thank you guys for coming along for the ride. So welcome to another edition of Tommy Travels. It's Tommy Travels. I'm excited to see what they have to offer here today, and thanks a lot for coming with me. This is adventure number 10. We're in double digits, so this is a milestone episode. I guess the next one will be at 100. So thank you for coming with me today. Let's go inside and see what there is to see.
Our headquarters is in Texas, in Dallas. And our mission is to find and fix and fly every World War II plane we can.
Every one.
As many as we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we have 6 aircraft assigned to us. And 5 of them are World War II and 1 is Korean.
Okay.
One over here is just being assembled.
Okay.
But the wings have anywhere from no aircraft to 15 or more.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on where you're located.
So you just get them from scrap yards and things like that, or?
Well, we get them from people who own them.
Oh, okay.
Technically, headquarters owns all the airplanes.
Okay.
They assign them to the wings. In most cases, the wings find the airplanes and go to headquarters and say, we have this XYZ, can we have it?
Oh.
And then headquarters will probably say, well, yes.
Okay.
Or, there might be another wing that might be more deserving of an aircraft. So. But I think in our case, we found all of ours on our own.
This is a Wright R2600 B25 engine right here. The wartime cost for a new engine was $16,500. Today's cost for a new engine, $120,000. Here are some tools that every good motor pool should have on hand. Some wrenches, flashlight, old oil canister. Not sure what that is, or that. But of course you'll see an old license plate. And to do good work, you have to have good glasses.
Ryan, the same company that built the Spirit of St. Louis airplane.
Oh, okay.
And this is a primary trainer, and in the trainers, the cadet sat in the front and the instructor sat in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And got a 5-cylinder Kinner engine in it. And it's, I don't know, 90 to 110 horsepower or something like that. It's not meant to be a fast airplane, just to teach you the fundamentals of flight. Actually, when it's turned on, it sounds like your grandmother's sewing machine. So, but we sell rides in all of these.
Oh, really?
To fly a ride in that, you get a helmet and a pair of goggles to wear
Oh,
for the flight.
and you get to just ride right up
Yep, right front seat. Yep.
in the front. Okay,
Yep.
and then the pilot
The instructor sits back here.
and does the actual flying.
Yep.
A little bit of a cramped quarters in there, huh?
These aircraft were designed for 19-year-old kids who weighed 145 pounds.
Yeah.
They didn't have McDonald's back then.
So, this is where George Bush Sr.
Yep.
learned to fly.
Primary flight training. Yeah, right. He came right out of prep school. He was like 18. And by the time he was commissioned, he was the youngest commissioned Navy pilot.
Wow. So would he have flown in something like this
He
then?
probably would have flown more like the N3Ns back
The
there.
N3Ns, okay. Now, how did you get involved with this organization?
Well, I'm a baby boomer,
Okay.
so I grew up with the World War II stories. My daddy was a Marine, and I watched, the early television shows, Victory at Sea. Watched 30 Seconds Over Tokyo movie, read the book,
Yeah.
and I've always been intrigued by mechanical things. I never took or found the opportunity to learn,
Yeah.
so that's why I'm not a pilot or a mechanic. But I can clean the heck out of the floor. Yeah. I polish aluminoclad a lot, and that stuff is needed. You
Yeah.
don't have to be a veteran, a pilot, or a mechanic to be a member. You just have to appreciate World War II. And
That's wonderful.
so I was at a point in my life where I just finished being a Cub Master for my son's Cub Pack. He transitioned to Boy Scouts. They didn't need me in the Boy Scout troop. So I said, Dick, it's now time for a hobby for you.
Yeah. What you are looking at here is a H1 bailout bottle. So if there was a pilot that needed to bail out between 25 and 40,000 feet, if they just bailed out, they would lose consciousness. But this is an oxygen bottle that they could use so that they would maintain consciousness as they parachute to safety. And then this is the garb that an Air Force flight crewman would wear. Jacket to keep warm, and that blue shirt that he's wearing right there, that is an F1 electric heated suit. And it can be plugged into the electrical outlets at fixed locations throughout the airplane to keep warm. This is what he would have looked like back in World War II. So, in 1942, there was what's called the WASP program, with civilian volunteers for domestic military flying. These are some of them right here. A total of 1,113 women came from every corner of the United States to serve their country. 38 women died in the course of duty, but because they were not officially military, there were no benefits or military honors. It wasn't until 1976 when women were finally being accepted into the Air Force pilot training. And this is the L1 Gabardine flying suit that was standardized in November 1944. These two little guys are Type 97 hand grenades. This was the standard issue grenade of Japanese troops throughout World War II. And this is a Japanese Army winter flight suit. And he's wearing a headband called a hachimaki, which is a stylized headband, bandana, in Japanese culture usually made of red or white cloth, worn as a symbol of perseverance, effort, and or courage by the wearer.
But they would teach aerobatics and these things.
Oh,
And Again, the cadet sat in the front seat. The pilot instructor sat in the back seat. Now this one we're taking apart farther than ordinary because we're painting it.
Oh, I see. So
It was all silver, but the trainers are blue and yellow. And it will eventually have a blue fuselage and then yellow flight surfaces. You can see it there.
Oh, okay.
And it's being painted next door.
Oh, and that's a little bit of the blue there too. Okay. So they're going to restore that color.
Yep.
Okay.
And as we're stripping it, we're finding things that need to be repaired too.
Yeah.
So it was a good thing we took it apart. This has a 600 horsepower engine, whereas this one behind us is 450. And this has retractable gear. So it's a much more difficult plane to fly. But once you master that, you got your wings.
I see. So these guys are busy restoring it to...
Well, they're putting in a new radio system.
Oh, I see.
But I think they've already finished the annual inspection.
Okay.
But they're doing new radio stuff. That's why all the wires are hanging out of it. So,
And then what's this guy over here?
oh, this is the steerman. And this is another primary trainer like the Ryan PT-22. And this is the kind of plane they used here.
Okay.
This is owned by one of our members. It's not a wing airplane.
Oh, I see.
But he's storing it here for repair and for building. And he's rebuilding it to honor veterans.
Oh.
He's going to take it to air shows and fly veterans around. You know, MIA.
Oh, yeah. Kind of the theme. That's awesome. This is John Robert Trustman. John entered the Army Air Corps in 1942 and served for 4 years as a photographer, both aerial and on the ground. As with all who served in this capacity, he doubled as an aerial gunner. And then here is some of the equipment that he used to use. Old-time camera. And then these are some of his other cameras. That one's pretty neat. And then these are some of his pictures that he himself photographed. It's kind of like stepping back in time. So, the Treasury and War Department started a Buy a Bomber campaign. And this campaign enabled communities and civic groups to purchase an airplane. The airplane could be named by those communities for their state or county, community, civic group, or even a school. And South St. Paul's civic group, the Hook'em Cows, purchased a B-24 Liberator this way. The Hook'em Cows were organized in 1916 to help in the revitalization of the St. Paul Winter Carnival. The Hook'em Cows members marched in parades, hosted rodeos, and were top-notch booyah makers. They had their own restaurant in South St. Paul and even had their own brand of cigars. And in April of 1945 at the airfield in Hannaford, England, the new B-24 crew was assigned to the 754th Squadron under the command of 2nd Lieutenant and pilot David Totten. And this is that crew right here. And that is a look at their cigars. The logo, 1916 cigars, Hook'em Cow.
Different aircraft. This is the 5, made by the Stinson Corporation. And you can see the roof is all plastic. They would use these to fly over the enemy lines to locate the enemy.
Oh.
And when they located them, they radio positioned back to the artillery and the headquarters so they knew where the outlying enemy was. The only armament on this airplane was the Colt 45 and the pilot's shoulder holster.
Oh,
No
my.
guns on this thing. And once again, it's fabric. With a wooden frame.
M37 Power Wagon.
Well, it was made by Dodge.
Okay.
And Dodge called it the Power Wagon. The Army called it the M37. It's got a Dodge engine and a 6-cylinder. And when Korea happened, they started making this. And it's very much like the 3/4-ton trucks they used in World War II, but slightly different. But they built these all through Korea. This is a 1954 version. And then they stopped making them because the Korean War was over.
Oh, well, that makes
Then this
sense.
thing called Vietnam came around. They took out the blueprint, started building it again. And I drove one just like this in 1969 when I was in the Army, just like it.
Oh my
Same,
gosh.
Same truck.
Oh, this one here, this reminds me of MASH right here.
This is a World War II vintage Jeep.
Okay,
It belongs to one of our members also.
okay.
We own 2 Jeeps of our own, and I don't know where they are.
Someone's out cruising.
In that building. Could be. I hope they are. I hope they are. This belongs to our motor pool chairman. And,
Oh, well, hello, sir. Thank you very much for your service. What are you going to be doing today? Oh. Going for a little bike ride, I see. Fantastic. It's a little chilly out for a bike ride today, but good luck in your travels. Well, thank you guys again for hanging out with me today. It's been a blast seeing all the history and the airplanes and memorabilia from World War II. And if you ever make it to this museum, it is free of charge. But they do request donations because it costs money to put all these planes together and the fuel to fly them and everything like that. So give them a little something if you do stop by here. And if you enjoyed this video and like the other videos and things like that that I do, please hit subscribe on my YouTube channel. That gives me some support and helps me keep things going and gives you some notifications on my next videos coming out. So once again, thank you very much. You can also see me at tommytravels.fun to see sneak previews of the next videos. And also just for fun video clips that I put on there as well. So it's got links to my Facebook and YouTube, Instagram. So stop by tommytravels.fun as well. And I hope to catch you guys on the flip side.